Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. Gonna drop the point. Drop the point. No zero ham bone. What is the point? Drop the point.
Hello world and welcome to another episode of Drop the Point. I am Hambone and I'm joined by none other than Xero. What up, Xero?
What up, Hambone?
Chillin', man. You got a new show out, huh?
Yeah, 90 Seconds with Xero. So, put the first one up today. I would love to say it's some point going to be a daily show when I get to the point where I can edit a video and all that and feel comfortable with what I'm putting out. But right now, it's going to be once a week.
Right on.
Until I kind of learn some of the stuff I'm working with and some of the programs a little bit better, and I can actually feel confident in getting that content out quicker.
Right on. Well, there you go. If you want some unfiltered Xero, go check out 90 Seconds with Xero.
I got to ask Troy if I can cuss on there. Like, if he's okay with me cussing on there.
Oh,
Because,
it needs to be unfiltered.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be like, I can just go on there and rant.
Right, and say what you want
really
to
say what I want to say.
As a matter of fact, we're going to open that forum up for this episode of Drop the Point, because tonight we are talking about who the hell killed Destiny. So that's going to be our subject matter for
Spoiler
tonight.
alerts, Negative Nancy's on air.
Negative Nancy's are on air, but we promise stick around to the end of the video because we will build it back up. But before we jump in, if you want to send us your hate mail about how stupid we are about Destiny, you can send that to onpoint@aimassistgaming.com, or you can tweet us at Twitter and say, hey, you're an idiot at aimassistgaming. But either way, thank you for the support, and we will keep doing what we're doing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Xero, who killed Destiny?
It's funny because a lot of people would say Activision's doing this and Activision did this, and I say Bungie has some responsibility here. I think Activision pressures them. Absolutely, I think Activision comes in with pressure, says, look, the game needs to make more money. And so microtransactions are brought up, and then it becomes a thing, well, what are we going to sell for microtransactions? And it starts off with emotes, and I was fine with that. In September, I was like, yes, good thing, more money to the game, more stuff for us. Thinking that was going to translate into new content, new exciting things to do. And since has only produced Sparrow Racing League. And I don't even think the money coming in from emotes and all that has helped produce Sparrow Racing League. I think that was already in the works. So I think and when it comes to actually pricing these things out, I think Bungie's in charge of that. I don't think that's going to be Activision. I think they put the pressure on them to do these things, and they then are like, oh, we'll spend $30 on boosting a character to 25.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second. So they come out and they say, hey, for $30, you can get a Spark, which we all got with TTK. And that instantly boosts a character up to 25. Now, obviously, there's the reaction that you're going to share, but what I want to know is, how valuable is that to a kid? Because is a child going to not want to just play through the content anyway and devour it? I mean, because I was talking to Freediver, and he said, oh, I let my son have his own account. And I asked him if he used the Spark, and he said no, he's already 30 because he just played the crap out of the content once he was finally allowed to play it. So who's this for? Who's the Spark for?
It's hard to say. I saw a comment on the video that I did, and I haven't replied to it yet, but the comment was that in World of Warcraft, you can spend $60 to boost to level 90. 10 levels under the level cap. The thing about World of Warcraft is, to get to level 90, that would take a long time. You would spend a couple weeks playing that game to get to level 90, I'm sure. I haven't played it in a while, so it could be easier to level up in that game than it ever has been. I know when me and Troy played it, it was a lot easier to level up, but the fact still remains, it's going to take time. It's not like Destiny, you could literally get the game and in 2 days be at 40, if that. I mean, you could probably do it in a nice 15-hour session.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, I think it's grossly priced. Like, it's just disgusting. I don't have a problem with a level boost. That's not my problem. I could care less if you want to spend money and boost your character to whatever max level is, or 10 levels under max, or 15 levels under max. I don't care. You do you. But I do have an opinion about how much they're going to charge you to do it. You know, I think $30 is just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And then I look at things like the Sparrow Racing League's record book costing $10. A cool little feature that keeps track of all your stuff that you're doing in the Racing League that probably should just be available to you anyways, but then also has loot that's associated with Sparrow Racing attached to it, which then becomes a paywall.
Right.
To get the loot from Sparrow Racing, you then have to pay $10. And some people will say, well, you can get loot without that book. Sure, but the real loot, the real Sparrow Racing loot, is locked behind a $10 paywall. And it's like, come on, are you kidding me? Like, that was the whole point of what you kept saying to us, was like, we're not going to charge y'all to access, you know, game items. You know, you're going to only pay for cosmetic stuff, and it's going to be this and that, and it's not going to be these, you know, somebody said to us at one point, selling engrams for money. And that, what kind of problem will that be? And it's like, and I was like, no, they would never do that. It's you know, counterproductive to what the whole microtransaction model is and the game is. But now I'm like, dude, anything's on the table. The way that they're doing this and the way that they're charging money for certain things, I'm like, everything's on the table. I mean, you buy the $30 Spark, you're going to get some telemetries, your subclass will go up. And I don't think you can sweeten that deal enough. I mean, unless you just say, hey, you unlock, you know, this, and that. You get, you know, whatever guns they want to attach to that.
It's very strange to me, because I want to know, where's the loyalty to the people who have already sunk over $100 into this game? You mentioned the little book that you could get with Sparrow Racing that actually helps you get the gear and experience what you want. Obviously, you can get it other ways, but let's be real. So, what have we paid for? Why is it that now everything is starting to look like, oh, this is for the new player, this is for the new player? And it's all set up for this new culture that they're trying to bring in, when we still have stuff in the game and people who are playing the game that simply want it to run smoothly. You release challenge mode, right? This is the next thing I want to talk about. And specifically this week, it's Oryx, right? You have to not detonate any of the bombs and stack them up so that there are 16 bombs and you detonate them all at once and you kill them. The problem is, there are glitches all the way through this, as if it's not hard enough to keep the ogres where they're supposed to be just by DPS, usual DPS. You now have to deal with teleportating ogres. So they're jumping from pools into the middle of the board, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do. There are platforms that are not showing up when everybody's still on their platforms and in the order they're supposed to be there, and there's just a missing platform. At one point, we had the Shadow. In the Shadow, he got stuck in a Weapons of Light bubble, or a Blessing bubble. Just stuck there. Didn't move, and we were able to kill him, but he was just stuck inside of a bubble the entire rotation until somebody mysteriously died. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. So my thing is, stop giving us little things that are irrelevant when it really comes to the nature of the game, and fix the game. You're taking people away from the game who could fix it and make that encounter, which gives you guaranteed gear, smooth. Why is that not happening?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny that challenge mode essentially is not difficult because the challenge they put in front of you, that it's actually, like you said, the glitches and the problems with the game. That's the challenge of challenge mode.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they need to bite the bullet. They really should just bite the bullet right now, piss off their community, and be like, okay, Destiny's free to play. It's a freemium game. Because I really think that's where it's going. I think it's going to be, I feel like it's going to be free to play at some point. But right now, even with Destiny 2 on the horizon, until we show them Like, okay, we're not going to continue to buy all the silver and do all these things with silver and buy full retail releases of the game.
Right.
So, like Destiny 2, I think you're going to pay retail money for it. And they're going to have a bunch of stuff with silver attached to it. And then it'll be a thing of, okay, well, at some point, there will be a decision made by the consumers where Destiny will become free to play. But, maybe what they should do instead of selling sparks for $30 is maybe sell, a patch for the raid for $10. I think they'd sell that a lot faster than the spark.
Oh my goodness. If you had a guaranteed patch, dude, that's dirty. I would be on it immediately.
Oh yeah, everybody in your raid team last night would have been on it.
Oh yeah.
Y'all might not have wanted to buy the patch.
Right.
But because y'all wanted to finish the challenge mode and get your last calcified fragment and get the 320 loot, y'all would have got frustrated to the point of buying the patch.
Right. Oh, you better believe it. And speaking of the raid and challenge mode, that brings me to our last point that I want to bring up before we get out of here is, there are still a lot of people in our community who love Destiny and are actively playing it. We fall somewhere in the middle, leaning away, falling out, but obviously we do a show covering it. We still love the game and what it stands for, but it's not where we want it. However, we do know the things that you should be doing inside the game if you still choose to play and are maybe a little bit behind the lead of the group who have all finished all these activities. So for me, my number one thing that you should be doing if you haven't done it already is go get a Touch of Malice. Especially if you're into challenge mode and you're still running weekly raids. I can't tell you enough how much that gun helps. And how even the challenge mode last night, with having 6 guys with Touch of Malice running that, it's super smooth. With one of the guys didn't have a Touch of Malice, and it actually got difficult when he was the floater because he couldn't do the bubble DPS.
The deeps.
Yeah, from up top. So I would say go get yourself a Touch of Malice. What about you, Xero? What should they be doing if you're still playing Destiny?
First off, stop and ask yourself if you're enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying it, stop playing. And
Absolutely.
I don't say that because Destiny and whatever I think of where the state of the game is. I say that because of my experience with WoW and other MMOs where I played for a long time and I got to a point where I was just playing basically to play and not because I actually enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. So very first thing, ask yourself, do I really like what I'm doing? And if you do, which is 100% fine, that's completely up to you. Continue to play. Challenge mode seems like a really good thing for people to be doing. I would definitely suggest it, but like you said, you might need to kind of, get into your equipment and make sure that you can be useful in the challenge.
Right.
Because while we don't think they're that challenging, you definitely are. It's harder to carry people through these things than some of the other content in the game.
Absolutely.
And then find what you like about the game and do that. Like, there's so much grinding in the game. There's a lot of areas where it could be like, oh, I gotta do this again. Or I hear people say all the time, well, I do my dailies. That's okay. If you enjoy doing it, by all means, do it. I just say, look for what you're enjoying and continue to do that. Mm-hmm. If you're finding enjoyment in the game, then, identify what it is that you enjoy and continue to do it.
Right.
But if you don't enjoy it, man, there's so much good stuff out. Just go play something else.
Absolutely. Another tip, if you're a PvP guy that's out there and you're like, okay, the meta is changing, what should I be using? You need to go find yourself a high rate of fire auto rifle because they are shredding face. Monte Carlo is a god. What'd you say?
I heard that Last Word is resurged.
Last Word, in fact, if you're watching this video, you probably have seen some footage of me wrecking face with Last Word in Trials last night. Last Word is back for sure. It's back. Thorn is back. Mida multi-tool. All these guns are very, very, very relevant in the new meta of Crucible. Scatter grenades on those nothing manacles, still ridiculous. They turned down the range. I'm air quoting for those that can't see me. But yeah, there's still some good stuff, and we will touch on that in another episode. We promise we'll go more in depth, break down some stuff for you guys out there. But thank you so much for listening. We hope that you understand we love this game. We want nothing but the best, and that's why you get these passionate talks, because it's our livelihood. We make a show about this. We make a living, or I should say, are trying to make a living through this game and other games too. So it's important to us that it does well.
I think the big thing for people to realize is I don't want people to keep thinking like, oh, these guys are talking crap about Destiny. And I would like people to look at us like we do podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're making content. We have an amplified voice. Okay, we have a reach that the average person doesn't. So we voice the problems and hoping that they hear it because we have that amplified voice. Mm-hmm. I don't complain about this game because I don't want Destiny to go anywhere. I want to play Destiny. I don't want it to die or disappear or anything. I want it to be good. I want it to be appealing to casual and hardcore alike. And I'm going to complain and complain and complain until people at Bungie listen and they make the correct changes. They got to know some of the stuff they've done is shiesty and dirty. Mm-hmm. Some of those guys got to be like, ooh, I feel bad about that.
Yeah. You would imagine that somewhere in there somebody is like, maybe that wasn't such a great idea. But we'll keep rocking as long as we can, as long as we can keep supporting. We definitely will. Thank you guys for watching. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what you think. Are you still playing Destiny? Are you happy with the moves that you see Bungie making? And tell us if you completely disagree. We want to know. We welcome constructive criticism and comments from you guys. So don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Aim Assist Gaming. You can look that up. We do a podcast where we talk about this type of stuff and more. Also, don't forget to check out Siege the Show, which comes out every Tuesday, where you can check out what we're talking about Siege. That's usually Too Loud and Null Zero. And once again, 90 Seconds with Null Zero on your feed in the YouTube. So, check all that out. We love your faces, and we'll see you when we see you.
Peace!